Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxchair, on the show this evening. Is my mocker All Blair? All Blair? All Blair, even?
All Blair.
All Blair. All Blair. All Blair. And of course, is the star of the show, Robert. Evening, boys.
Evening, mate. How are you two?
Aye, I'm all right. How are you, mate?
Smashing. It's absolutely smashing.
Good, mate. If you're smashing, I'm super. Evening, Robert.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Albert. Good to be on with you two yourselves tonight, mate. Looking forward to a good show.
Nice to be on with you.
Carry on, All Blair.
No, I'm just saying, good to be on with Robert and yourself, mate. Looking forward to this, mate. Let's get into it right away. Let's get into it.
Yes. We've done it to death, Robert. We've got to move on. Yeah.
Absolutely, mate. That's all we can do. We can't change what's happened in the past. We can only look forward now. We know what's left of the season. We know who the opponents are going to be. And obviously, there's still pride to play for and a second place to play for, Ox, and that starts come Sunday against our rivals. So it's still fit to be played.
I was talking to a lunatic today. A lunatic.
I still think we can win the league. I still think we can do it, mate. I'm telling you,
I wouldn't be right, Robert, for me to name names. I wouldn't do that, but I was talking to a total lunatic today. I'll let him run his theory by you, mate. Yeah, on you go.
I know, I still think we can win the league. I'm still believing, mate. Until it's mathematically impossible, I'm still believing.
I get it, mate. I get it. Why not? Why not? You win a game, somebody loses a game. You never know.
All it takes, mate. All it takes is for them to, like they two, to lose the next two games, mate. That's all it takes. And it's not impossible to happen, mate. We're involved in one of them, but if they lose the two games, we win 3 games. It could get to the point where the scum have got to beat Hearts to win us the league, or if they don't, they'll lose second spot and they end up third. It can happen, mate. I'm telling you, it can happen.
And that's some of the reason that people are so frustrated, mate. Because if we won the last 2 games, where we would have been and the pressure on other teams and what we could have inflicted on them would have been so different. We burst the bubble. We burst the bubble home against Motherwell, mate, and we never get the air back in it for a full 90 minutes last week. It's as simple as that, Robert.
It is, mate. It is, and again, that's where the frustration lies, because when you looked at it going into the split, we all said we were the team on form, we were the team on the ascendancy, and we looked the most likely to go and win the league. But when you come into that split and you lose to Motherwell, it's not great. I said it on the show on Sunday, Monday night rather. Motherwell game was a dent, but that Hearts defeat was a hammer blow. And Albert's right, mathematically it is still possible. Is it likely? Very unlikely, if I'm being honest. But as Albert says, strange things happen. It's been a weird and wonderful season in a weird way, but anything can happen. But that's where the frustration is, mate. You look back at certain games throughout the season and you just wonder, what if and if only.
Right, so I'll tell you what we'll do. Mr. Fox has kindly cut a bit of Danny Rowe's press conference today. He's studied it astutely. He's working on a big project at the moment. Albert, he's working on a big project as your Fox.
He is, isn't he? Half, mate.
Yes.
Build a fort. Yes.
I think the theory he's looking for goes back to the drawbridge. For honest.
Aye. There's a.
Yes.
And a moat. Get a moat as well when you're at it.
So if we build that way a moat for it, we'll be able to say, so moat it be. Anyway, we digress. Right, the drawbridge for Mr. Fox. Right, okay, we're going to hear from Danny Rowe. So get yourself on mute and we'll hear from the manager as we build up to a big game against that pup.
The fact that on Sunday you have the chance of denting Celtic's title chances is maybe something that's in the mind of some Rangers supporters. Is that something that you or the players think about at all, use as any type of motivation?
I think for this game you don't need motivation. For us it's about winning games, and I think there's more just about to stop someone else about winning a title. For us it's about, like I said, make our supporters proud, and it means for us to deliver a good result and hopefully 3 points.
From that perspective, Danny, how ideal is it to have a game of this magnitude to come so quickly after a disappointing one on Monday?
I think everyone is clear. You take the right results and you can turn a small thing back in the right direction from the emotional level. Yeah, because the bigger picture, and we knew this 2 defeats hurts really after maybe a hopeless season in October where nobody thought we can win something, and then you come so close, you worked so hard, and this is as well, we spoke about mentality or something like this in general, but the same group showed as well in 6 months how they can come on this point.
Danny, would that be one of your strongest messages to the fans? You obviously have high standards. You're facing up to the prospect of another season without silverware. Your message to them going into the summer?
Yeah, of course. I think we want to increase. I think everyone in our building is very clear. We start the process, but the process without a winning of titles, it's not enough for our club. And in this direction, we move forward. I'm really motivated. I'm really ambitious for the new season. Make the next step with a group of players, and to be from the first day on front foot.
Hi Danny, can you give us some sort of indication or some sort of idea about what your conversations have been like with the owners over the past week to 10 days? There's obviously been a lot of criticism. Do you get the feeling that they remain committed to having you as manager next season?
Well, I'm fully committed. I feel it every day, the support. I feel the conversations we had, we spoke so much about what we want to change for the summer, and all in all, I feel that I'm in the right place with the right people, with a lot of motivation, positive energy to bring this club not just to a one-hit wonder, back to a consistently club who can win titles in a row. And I think this is also important to understand. A one-hit wonder for us, it's nice, but what we are looking for is that you consistently play for the title again and again. And this is my job, this is our job, and this is why I'm looking forward.
Danny, you've been very committed throughout the season with your starting 11, your team selection and the rotations. You're kind of very wedded to sports science end of the club. Because this is really the last chance saloon for this season, are you tempted to go with your own feelings and perhaps overrule the sports science with regard to the team selection this weekend?
I think general I take and collect all the informations, but I make my decisions by my own. It's not that sports science make the decision. But I come back to the point, you have some players and you can be really, believe in me, if I have sometimes a choice to stick again and again with the same 11, I would do it. I think we had a lot of time in conversation where I said, oh, now I have my starting 11, and there comes an injury again, or you have to take someone out. This is what it is. It's important to have people around me to avoid injuries, but at the end I make my decision by my own.
Danny, after the Hearts game, obviously there was a reaction to the outcome. One of the criticisms that seems to have emerged is
maybe a lack of reaction to what Hearts changed during that game. Do you see that from the coaching perspective and think it's fair?
Oh, we have to go in really details now. What happens? I think the first half we played with, I call it floaters in the midfield with 3 players. They were very active and they come always far away from the man-to-man pressing. They couldn't catch up. We were very active. Second half, they were a little bit more active in the pressing, but we stopped to move. And you can change to any other shape. If you don't move an opponent who is man marking, you will still not find the right solutions. And I think this is a part what we have to do better, to understand, okay, even under the highest pressure, who is now the free man, how we can take him and how we can open up the spaces. And if he stops to move, we can change 4 shapes. It will be not influence the outcome. And I think this is a crucial point. And then the last 20 minutes, we moved from 4-2-3-1 to 3-4-3 with 2 wide players, with Gas and Thür, to give us more width as well. And then we had the 4 midfielders with 2 6s and 3 attacking players on the pitch. But again, the key moment is how you move players when you are man marked. And when you stop to move and you are not active enough and you stay just in your position, it's difficult to play football against the man marking.
Is that, just a final one, is that not a basic thing though that comes down to desire? And that would be a concern.
Not a basic thing. It's about to make the right decisions on the pitch as a group together. And I think when you look, and you can watch a lot of football games, the challenge from man marking is a challenge, but we showed in the first 45 minutes that for them it was difficult to press, and because we were exactly what we want. And we will take a lot from this game, from the second half, from this 45 minutes, and we go forward.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Wow, some controversial stuff in there. Robert.
Well, interestingly enough, or unsurprisingly enough, mate, we didn't get any information ahead of this weekend. It was all about the Hearts game and what went wrong, his lack of reaction to Hearts substitution, the way they played. But he's right in what he says though, Ox. No matter what system, setup, formation you play, if players don't do the job of moving, which is just simple football, if they don't move, it's not going to work regardless of who you put on the pitch and whatever way you set it up. So he's right in that factor. But listen, it's always going to be these tough questions in the back of defeat. He knows that himself, and we know it. That the media is going to come and ask him questions that aren't always going to be pleasant enough to answer. But he's answered it as truthfully as he could, in my opinion. He's stating the obvious of what we have seen that went wrong. He tried to explain what we done well in the first half, what we didn't do so well in the second half, and ultimately it cost us that game. But I thought he kind of handled again the media pretty well. I know at times he's sounded a bit deflated the past 2 or 3 weeks, but let's be honest, can you blame him if he's a bit deflated?
Well, we'd be more upset if he was coming on as if he didn't have a care in the world, but you can't win for dead right, for dead wrong. But all better, name names.
Who didn't move? What he's talking about, who didn't move? Oh, there's a few of them didn't move. Chukwani didn't move. Raskin didn't move. Diomandi didn't move. Olsen didn't move. Moore was hanging about for a while. I don't think Moore actually knew when he moved. The fullbacks get pinned back. Sterling, they never broke out. Avenir never broke out. So you're looking at it. The only two stayed in their positions were they had to stay in their positions with Fernandes and De Jigger. They stayed in their positions, what they're supposed to do. And all around about them. said it before, mate. It's, simple game made difficult by idiots. It's an old cliche. It's an old saying, but it's true. The 1-2s, move, pass and move. It's basic football to do it. But the guys try to say it's all simple, it's all this. They're trying to get a clickbait out of him. They're trying to blame somebody, blame the players, he's not blaming anybody. He's just, they asked him a question to say, what you went, that's what went wrong. And no matter what formation you're going to play, the players are not going to move. It doesn't matter what system you're using. It's just a fact of life. I think the guy's pretty honest. I think he's straight up and pretty honest. He's no throwing anybody under the bus. He's telling you what happened. And we all seen it with our own eyes. First half, everything went perfect. Perfect. They couldn't get near us. And he said that. They couldn't get near us. And that's the way it was. That was the way it was planned. Take the heat out of the game, quieten the crowd down, get a goal, get me 1 goal if you can. We've done everything right, mate, in the first half. And you're sitting there, look, more of the same in the second half. Oh, McInnes is a tactical genius. He put on a player and changed and all that. And he's right. All we did was no run, mate. No move into position and know what yourself available for a pass.
So we didn't have the desire. Would that be fair then? Is that what we're saying?
Well, I don't know about that, mate. But you need to ask the players that. You need to ask the players that. They'll come out and say, we've got the desire. Well, did any of us see any desire on that park? I didn't see any.
Second half.
No, when the going gets tough. When the tough get going, our team collapses. It's been like that, not just with Hearts. It's been like that with everybody. If they actually up their game, look at Livingston. They upped their game and 2-0 up. Then outfought us for most of the game. Second going, you've got to. It's the old saying. As soon as say it, Smith says it. You've got to win the battle to be allowed to play the football. You don't win that battle, you ain't playing any football because you're not going to be allowed to do it. And bear in mind, by the way, I said that this is going to sound stupid, but think about it.
Don't say that. Don't say it.
No, they're playing Rangers. We're playing them. They've got the motivation. They're playing Rangers. These players that we've got need to understand this. They're playing Rangers. That's all they see, Rangers. They don't care who's wearing the shirt. It's just Rangers they're playing. Oh, our players are actually playing whoever we're playing. It's not the same motivation. That's why I say when we're going to sign players and this Scottish nonsense comes into it again, we need to sign Scottish players. All that nonsense comes into it again. The problem you've got with that is, see the boy Watt, for example. Can anybody tell me how many good games he's had outside playing Rangers? Oh, everybody will tell me he's brilliant. Did they win the Player of the Year? I don't know if he won the Player of the Year. But if he's that good, he should have won the Player of the Year. But again, if you're going to get motivated to play Rangers, and that's what's happening, mate, and you're all saying, buy these players, they're all great, played great against us. We've seen it so many times. I don't care what nationality they are. I really don't care. And he said it in his interview today. I told you the other day about it. I don't care what nationality these players are. I don't care if it's Scottish, English, Irish, Welsh, German, French. I don't care, mate. I want good players, mate. I don't care what nationality they are. If they're good players, and before anybody jumps in and going, some of these Scottish players are good. No, they're not. No, they're not. If you're looking for really to push the club forward, you need to think more than that. If an outstanding Scottish player comes on the scene, you go, aye, he is a good player. Go for him. All this snobbery talk needs to stop, mate.
I would still take a punt. Yeah, I think I don't know, mate. Maybe the guys when they come and maybe their circumstances, and you never know. But I think we've missed a couple. Whether they worked out if we'd assigned them, you'll never know, mate. You'll never know.
No. But I could say they miss out a couple as well, mate. But as you say, you'll never know. Absolutely never know. And by the way, you've also got the Rangers tax to contend with. Any player that we want is obviously going to be double, triple the price that any other teams have to pay for them.
Yes. You just take a wee. There's a brown paper one over there for you, just with your name on it. You see it?
Aye, I'll just tell you. I'll tell you, sook at that. It's vodka inside this. Thank you.
Dear. But aye, listen. We didn't work hard enough in the second half. We didn't work hard enough the first half against Motherwell. You know, players when players don't work hard enough, the manager gets criticism. It's a bit mental, you know, and we've seen it. We've been labelled a 45-minute team, and maybe that maybe these last 2 games, but we've seen it. First half, decent against Hearts. Second half, Monroe fought back and should have been on the win again, let's be honest. But the first half appalling, second half appalling, 2 different games. You know, it's a trend that's happening. So I get the criticism of the manager, understand it, but, you know, our squad is really limited, really limited. I'd pretty much started, arguably, definitely 9, maybe 10 of the players they started on Monday night, mate. Yeah. So that's pretty close. That's, you're doing the opinions then. So the criticism of Danny Rowe for his selections, 1 difference makes no a big deal, you know, but this 45-minute thing has to stop, mate. Has to stop. Has to kick on. Has to move. We have to move on. Or he will be under real pressure, Robert.
He will, mate. He will. But as you say as well, that the manager always comes in under criticism for it. Of course, that's what the manager job is. That's what it comes with, the expectation and demand. It's always the kind of focal point that's the manager, but it's the players as well. The players have got to take responsibility and accountability for when they're on the pitch. If they're not putting in the effort on the pitch, as much as Danny Rowe or any other manager, no matter what name it is, if they're shouting and bawling at them from the touchline, whether that player does that instruction or not, that's down to the player. You can shout all day at them. It's a different matter whether they do it or not. So that's where players need to take responsibility. We've spoke about it plenty of times. You've touched on it this week as well. Leadership in the group. Not once did you see anybody, Tavernier, Raskin, anyone, try and get the players up and moving, shouting at them, trying to G them up to push on again, get the standards we did in the first half. None of it. But it's not just these 2 games, Ox, as well. You look at the Old Firm game, first half at their place, poor. Should have been out of sight, Celtic, let's be honest. But we came back in it second half. You look at the Old Firm game at our place, first half, we should have been out of sight. Second half, again, we dropped off. But what causes that? Where does that come from? Where does the 45-minute spell come from? Is it manager? Is it players? Argument for both, but
if
it's
it was
not
always
just this
the
season,
first
it's been a
half,
problem.
if it was always the first half, mate, you would say, what's happening? But there's been a mixture of halves. Most of the time, we've played better in the second half, I think. Statistically, if you look at the games, we've fought back and, you know, Parkhead away, you mentioned Livingston. I think Alba mentioned Livingston, but Falkirk, you know, and even the Motherwell game, we were better in the first half than we were in the second half. The Hearts game, the game at Ibrox against them in the league, we were better in the first half. So there's not a real set pattern, you know, and it's been frustrating. I'm going to ask you to a question, mate, and I want an honest answer, right? An honest answer. You know, our team all season, and particularly in the last 2 games, because let's be honest, our whole season hinged in these 5 games. I want your opinion. Does your team look fit? Albert?
No. Simple answer, no. Don't.
Robert? I'll come back to you for a reason, Albert.
Aye, okay.
Robert?
Same as Albert?
No. Explain, Albert.
Well, this is going to go into next season as well. The start of the season, and it's going to be every season because of this stupid European nonsense. Where is the pre-season? Tell me how many players are on that pre-season. They try to sign players. You're getting some in early. Okay, they've got the pre-season, but a lot of them you're not getting in. So they've got practically no pre-season. It's going to happen next year as well. Because if we don't get second place, we're going to have an early kicker. So where does the pre-season? When do you get your pre-season? You're lucky if you get 3 weeks off, mate. So that's part of the reason this year that we were no fit, mate. In my opinion, it's the transfer window's 2-3 months, and then by the time you get the players in, because you're not getting them all in the first day of the transfer window. It goes on and on. So you've got your 2 weeks holiday, say, before your pre-season, and you're trying to get all your work done by then. It's never going to happen, mate. So you get maybe, say you're going to sign 10 players just for a number. You're going to sign 2 players. You probably get two, maybe 3 early doors. You've now got another 7, and they're staggered over a 2-month period. So it's all our replacement. So you're looking at it and saying, and let's be honest, we look super fit that season. We look super fit in the thingy season, what do you call it? The run to Seville season. Looks super fit in that season as well. So I believe the time, there's just no time for it, mate. And that's why we're unfit. And how you get fit, they tell me you can't get fit during the season. I don't understand it, mate. How can you not get fit during the season?
Because you definitely unfit during the season.
It seems to be, isn't it? It seems to be.
Robert, your take on it, bro?
Quite similar to Albert in what he's saying about past teams being fit. I don't think we've looked as a squad fit since the Gerrard and Gio squads, if I'm being honest. The Gerrard squad was probably the fittest squad that I've seen in my time, and Gio continued it. I mean, you look at the games, going to extra time, European games, and then a cup semi-final as well against them, going to extra time and winning it. We've not looked fit since then, in my opinion. How do we get there? Clement touched on it when he was here, that there wasn't a lot of time because of fixture congestion, early starts, like Albert said, and it was down to individual programmes. Again, that comes down to players' attitude, their application, their desire to actually go and get fit. If training finishes, stay back, do a couple of drills, work on your fitness, take extra time in the gym. I don't think that's happening. If I'm being honest, Ox, I don't think it is. I think as soon as training's done, they're out the door and away, and that's them job done. But again, for me, it comes down to players.
You're saying it's a cultural thing then?
Ah,
I
think it's just down to players being lazy.
That's a cultural
thing. Robert, I think they work on their technical stuff, no their fitness. You can't work on your fitness. Got to remember, this sports science. You've all got programs, all different individual programs. And if your program says you have to rest at this time, you've got to rest. You're not allowed to get back in the gym or work on a training.
That's what happens in the Albert world. He gets told to rest, and he's good at it.
Oh, I've rested for 69 years now. It's good. By the time I'm 90, I'll be super fit, man, ready to play.
If the Olympics for rested, he's your man.
Oh, I'm your man.
What's your take on it, Box?
I just don't think we look fit, and I don't think we come back for that Spanish trip refreshed and we looked lethargic for the first whistle against Motherwell. And I can't understand it, mate. You know, I can't understand. You've went away, you've had this bonding trip, you've had, you know, you've worked on things, everybody's up for it. Yeah, you've got a couple of guys that are struggling with injuries. That's just part of football, and that's pure bad luck. You know, it'd be very unusual not to have a couple of players with something at this time of the season, mate. You know, so you've just got to go on with that. So I get that, but the rest, they've not looked great. You know, and I'm not wanting to have a go at Olsen. Olsen's not played a lot of football. He comes into the team. Big Sterling, that I've championed in the past. He's looked leggy in the last 2 games. I don't think he's looked great. I don't think Sterling's a natural defender. I don't think he sniffs it. You know, he's a big physical lad and can stop people, but I don't think he sniffs danger. I think you know what I mean by that, Albert.
Aye,
you know,
aye,
yeah, he's leggy, and you're looking over the pitch and you're saying, wow, you know, they say they need time, you need players, need rest to come back for this, to come back refreshed. Didn't work, mate. And before that, the only time we've really looked sort of fit was the sort of run about the Christmas period, mate. You know, when we kicked into January and we started a decent wee run. You know, without being outstanding. I think. Carry on, Albert.
I think we're a 45-minute team now. It's nothing to do with the fitness, mate. I think it's everything to do with the attitude of the players. I think you hinted on it. He's starting to hint on it now. You'll get the right story at the end of the season when all the games have been played and you finish up where you're going to finish up. But I think it's the players. It's nothing to do with. See the Motherwell game, for example. We'll just take the last 5 games, or the last 2 games, which will end up 5 games. But the Motherwell game, that was a party atmosphere, mate. I walked into Ibrox and felt it right away. This is a party mood. We'd won that game in our heads, mate. And that's what happened. And they fell asleep. Motherwell just came out flying, absolutely flying, mate. and you're saying, well, how are you not flying? Well, you know you're going to expect this. So that was right down to the players, mate. They weren't in the right frame of mind to start that game. They just weren't, and that's down to them, management, whoever. Blame whoever you want, but that's a fact. They weren't ready for that game. Yeah, in the second half they come out and start playing. You're saying, look at this. How is that happening? Now you might say, oh, that's been happening all season. Well, there's got to be a reason for it. Now, none of us actually know the reason. None of us. How we get beat these two games. Nobody actually can. We'll get theories. We'll get this happened, that happened. But one thing, it's obvious, and the manager's now telling you is the players stop moving. When they play, we call it playing fast, and we look better when we're playing at pace. It's actually the players moving into position. Everybody's wanting to take the ball. He hinted at it there in his last interview. Everybody in the first half at Hearts wanted the ball. Everybody wanted the ball, wanted on the ball. Second half, nobody wanted on the ball. No moving. And this is your problem all season you're getting. They go for a wee while and then go, all right, I'm not going to move. I don't know if it starts with one player, two players. It can start with one player. He doesn't move. The rest of them just follow suit. I'm not moving. And nobody's running for me. And he also said in that interview that you never heard that players start doing things that they never did before. They start acting and doing things with the ball that they never done before. Right out of character, they start doing strange things. And he's talking about all week in training and other games. But all of a sudden, you start saying to yourself, what's going on? Like, Tavernier could have cleared that ball. And he'll put it out for a shy rent. But what you don't do is what he did. Let the guy carry on down the wing and get to the ball. So things like that. And it's not just him. Raskin starts holding the ball and running with the ball. We're playing the ball all over the place. And then late on in the first half, Raskin gets the ball and he starts cutting across the park for no good reason, mate. We were just passing that round them all night long and they couldn't get near us and it was driving them crazy. But Raskin there invites them onto himself and saying, I want to wrestle with you with the ball. Why? There's no point to it. This is the point he's trying to make. If the players are not going to carry on playing the instructions and saying, look, this is the way you'll beat this team, they're not telling you how to play per se. They're telling you how to beat the team, what you need to do, move the ball, move past everybody. I mean, that's the first game I've actually watched, the first half of a game I've actually watched Rangers players going between the two players are going to the guy with the ball and the Rangers players going between them behind their back. So the guy just knocks it between the two of them. Look at Shankly. If you back and look at that game, look at Shankly. He started leaving the boot in because he couldn't get near the players. The ball's away, but he just carries on and smashes into the player. And he's trying to generate a reaction for the rest of his team. But we stopped doing it. We completely stopped doing it. And we've done it in other games. We completely stopped doing it. Or we don't start it in the games that they play on the first half, like the Motherwell game. We don't even start it. All of a sudden, they just okay, hold on, let's play a bit of football now, let's get into it. But it's a team, mate. It's a team game, mate. It's not just one player, it's a team. They all need to do it.
You know, you to pass and move and get support for your mates. Everybody has to buy in. You know, you need to work hard as a unit. You know, so look, we're now getting the player stick, and rightly so, mate. Rightly so, you know. And Robert, they're due, and if that, what we're saying is they didn't work hard enough, they disappeared, he fell out of the game. What he's saying is the reason he fell out of the game because he never got the ball, because he never made himself available. Is that cojones, brother?
I'd say so. I'd say it is, mate.
Or did he need a boot in the cojones?
Aye, probably a bit of both then. But no, they need to be brave and be confident to receive the ball. Trust your teammates to give you, and trust yourself in your ability that you can hold up possession, bring others into play when they start moving. But you've got to have self-belief. You can't have your manager holding your hand throughout the whole game. As I said, as soon as you cross that white line, you've got to go and take responsibility and accountability, regardless of what position you are in that team, whether you're in the leadership squad or anything. You're a player. You go and back yourself against a team. Take the shoulders back, hold your head up and go and play. We've not had that. Not just in the past two games, but all season. There's been parts where some players have stood up. Of course there has. I'm not saying there hasn't been. But collectively, as a squad, there's not been enough of it. And I think that does come down to self-confidence, self-belief, or just having the cojones, as you say, mate. Again, though, it comes down to that player's attitude on that park.
You can work your socks off and not have a great game all there. That happens, isn't it? You can be chasing and harrying, and the other team will just move the ball away.
Not,
you're
nothing will
through.
break for you. Aye.
Aye,
You're right, mate.
you know.
But one of the things I know I would say is exactly what Roll was going on about, but also I would put it down to football intelligence. See when everything's going well and the likes of the first off and everything's passing, it's easy and they can't get the that's all easy stuff, mate. You don't need much football intelligence apart from moving. See in the second half, when you start to go, hey, this is not going quite right. It's the football intelligence you need to kick in then, and the will to win, obviously. But the football intelligence is you see your mates getting into trouble. I'm going to move this side of that player to take a pass. That's what he's trying to say. He's not looking for the ball anymore. You're just happy to watch somebody getting boxed into a corner and then the other players getting around about them. You should be moving into a position to take the ball off him. That's what Souness was famous for. That's what that Jock Steve used to say about Souness. He's always available in the midfield. He's always available to take that ball. No matter the situation, if you're in trouble, you can look up and see he's there. Well, you look up and see we're everywhere but where we should be. You're not trying to get the ball. Players are hiding and just saying, well, don't give me it, I don't want it. Well, you're never going to be a great team. You're never going to win much if you get players like that in your team. And this is what's happening.
And it's not just one. There's more. That's when it becomes a team game. Right, gentlemen, we get the phone lines open. Yes?
Absolutely.
Bill Robert?
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yes. Right, okay. We didn't get a lot of hints of who's playing, who's fit, who's unfit. Yeah, we did not get one iota at the press conference. Yeah, like to look back, no forward. I get it. It's a story as we sit. So let's assume we've got the same 11 players that started fit. Are you throwing in Romans in the DD, Robert?
Yes.
Based on what, mate, if you don't mind me asking?
I think we've missed the Mox. I think you've realised what they bring to the table, particularly Romans down the left hand side. Nadiri as well. He moves. That's something that you always kind of notice. He moves kind of side to side. He drops in. I think he brings a lot to the table. I think it's your strongest 11 you've got to go with, Fox. And if it means putting them on from the start, I know they looked a bit ring rusty coming on against Hearts, but listen, you've got to just go and throw everything at us. There's 3 games left. I'd play both of them, mate. I think they've shown what they can bring, and we've been weak without them. So I'd start both of them.
Albert.
I've got my team. You want me to give you my team?
Oh, what have you been up to all day?
Picking a team.
All right, okay, right. We got a drum roll. Do you fancy a drum roll or something like that before? What are you thinking, Robert?
Tee him up nicely. Make me anticlimactic, mate, enough.
It's not might be about it.
Is there going to be some controversy here?
Not really, no. Not really.
You want a
no,
drum
it's
roll?
quite. No, I don't want a drum roll. No. I just want to tell you my team. Are you ready? Kelly in goal, Sterling, the Jigger, Fernandez, Romans, Raskin, Chukwani, Diomande, Moore, Chukmiti, and Nadiri.
Right, mate. All right. What's your system?
Any system you want. No, I'd probably go 4-4-2.
All right, okay. Big talking point right at the start. Is that taking the wind out yourself, Robert?
Not surprised, to be honest with you. I can understand the rationale behind it all, but I don't see it changing, if I'm being honest, though. I think you'll keep Butland in goal, but I can see the rationale behind it, especially the distribution levels and that Butland showed the past few games, and particularly, as Ox has highlighted, the lack of saves he's been making and the goals that we've conceded. So
It's
I
true,
can understand
Robert.
it.
I'm not blaming him for all the goals.
No, I know, but it's a point to highlight. There was a time where you looked at him and he was quite reliable. He was getting us out of jail, keeping scores down, particularly at the start of the season. He was starting to keep clean sheets, as was the whole squad, right enough. But if you're criticising defence, then you've got to include your goalkeeper in that as well. So it's a fair option to have, but I think it'll be Butland still in goal.
Mm-hmm. So carry on, Robert. What you thinking?
Butland in goal, Sterling, Giga, Fernandez, Romans, Raskin, Chukwani, Diamonde, Moore, Chermiti, Nadiri.
Same team part for Burton.
Pretty much 4-3-1-2. Mikey Moore in the pocket behind the two. We're getting nothing from wide players, so I don't see the point in playing any wide players, Ox.
All right, I'm trying to think what I would do, mate. Right, so I accept all Bears' rationale, but I think Butland will start, mate. Yeah.
probably
The
will,
back
mate, but-
four. What's that? On you go, Albert.
He probably will, but I wouldn't start him, mate. I think we're wasting our time. I wouldn't play him the rest of the season, mate. I'd just give him his flip-flops and tell him to go away in his oldies, tell his agent to get him a club. That's as far as I'm concerned, that should be the end of his Rangers career. Ta-ta, ching. Thanks for your help, but cheerio.
Would you actually say that?
I would actually say that, mate. I would kick him out the door, mate. I don't think he's a good goalkeeper.
Thanks, yeah.
Your contribution.
Aye.
Or lack of contribution. Aye, definitely, mate. I'm not joking. I would tell him that's it for you.
Listen, I'm talking to anything you say is a joke. Sometimes mad, but not a joke.
Mad with logic, mate.
I must have missed that bit, Robert. Right, okay. So, right, okay, I get it, mate. So we've got the same back four. You're into midfield and taking your rationale, taking that rationale about the wide players. Right, so if you play the 4-3-1-2, that's what you're saying. Moore's got a free roll. Is that what you're saying, Robert?
Yep. He becomes like.
Are you playing City pretty similar? All bear eye.
Aye, definitely. I mean, let's be honest with it. They're going to go their way to stop that boy. They're going to go their way to stop that boy by fair or foul means, no doubt about that, mate. Because everybody sees that he is the danger, but we're pretty predictable. But it's up to the midfield. You need to release two of these midfielders to go forward. That's what I'm thinking. And a sitting midfielder, I would make Chukwani. I would say you sit deep. You sit. You're the anchor. You sit there. You be the spare man in midfield. You move about and take the ball. Move the ball about. Because Raskin can't do it, and there can Diamande. So Chukwani's the man. He is the man to make this tick. He'll play the simple ball, mate. He'll no run with the ball. He'll just play the simple ball. He'll keep the ball moving, move after it, and take the ball back, move it about. And if he does that, which I thought he did in the Hearts game, I thought he done it really well. If he does that, you get a chance. But again, I'm with Robert with the wingers. It's pointless playing them, mate. They're completely pointless playing them, starting with them, because you're not getting nothing out of them. It's at best, Gassama's an impact player. Miovski as well. Got a feeling he might come off the bench and score the winner. But Olsen, no, he's like Butland. I would just on him his flip-flops and tell him to go on his way.
Would you thank him for his efforts?
No, I wouldn't thank him. I would ask him for a rebate, actually.
Robert, would you think about going 4-4-2, mate, or 4-4-1-1 and having midfielders covering? Because if we play that, we will become narrow, mate, and they'll come down the wings. Yeah, we know how they play. We've watched them often enough at their place. I think you can be exposed in the wings. So I think if you had the four and you work it left to right and they can go forward as a unit and you try and win the midfield battle, yeah, I wouldn't even mind certain games, and I've said it before, you go 4-5-1, mate, and you're in, but people have to work hard. Maybe Danny Rowe doesn't think we'll go that personnel.
I think it would be hard to play with the personnel I've picked, Ox. I think it would be hard to play a flat four, even if they went 4-4-1-1, because you would have Moore. Going with my personnel, you'd have Nadiri and Chermiti at the top end, Moore out in the left, but then who would put in the right? Out of Diamonde, Raskin and Chukwani. So for me, I understand what you're saying about the width. They'll do it, but with Sterling and Romans there, who Sterling showed he can handle Maeda, although I think he'd be through the middle, going in what they've done the past few weeks. He's likely to be doing through the centre, out in the left, whether he goes with Tenecti or he goes with Yang. I think Sterling's showing that he can handle either of them, and then Romans on the other side, I think, just stronger. So you've got to work back. I know, I get that as well. You've got to work back, but I just think if you're playing the wingers, they're not contributing going forward, and they're not putting in the hard work off the ball either. So that's why I would change up differently and go a bit narrow. But obviously, you've got to work your socks off in the midfield. I get that, but I just think you're two men down if you're playing wide players. Apart from Mikey Moore, he'll try and get involved, but once he's outnumbered and isolated, he's out the game. Where's your out ball? Get Sama on the right? Not for me. Scott Wilson? Not for me. As much as I advocated for him, not for me. So change the shape, go narrow. Don't think they'll expect that either.
Aye. Gone down, gain the wings away. What do you think, Albert?
What they're going to try and do is, well, they usually try and overrun you the first half of mid. But what I think he'll try to do, if you get it, he'll just shut right and think they're not a good attacking team. They'll know back us doing as we've done the cup game. That's what he'll try and do. And if the chinks are there and they can score, of course they'll go for you. They'll definitely go for you. But if you stand up to it and play the right way, they'll then say, "Oh, hold on a minute, we can't just get away," because they're not a good team. Let's be honest. But the only reason they're in the title race is because of the officials, and they might go to win the league with the officials helping them, because that's what's been happening. They shouldn't even be anywhere near the title race, but they are. So don't be surprised if there's players get sent off on Sunday. Don't be surprised at all, mate. But as far as I'm concerned, they're going to go hell for leather they normally do. And if you can weather the storm and then catch them, we're in. But you need to do it both halves. As you keep saying, you need to win both halves of a game.
Aye, I get it.
Sorry.
Your formation would worry me, Robert, with the lack of wind to cover it. You give a midfield a lot today, mate, and they get pulled. That's the trouble. Yeah, that's sometimes a flaw when you play narrow. No, but it'd be interesting to see what he does, mate, because it'll also be interesting to see who's fit. Because sometimes when you've had a couple of bad results, feel that it's amazing what happens, Robert.
It is amazing what can happen when you come off the back of 2 defeats and the morale's low, obviously with the disappointment of where it's left us in the league positions. But this is where you look for players to stand up. These are the games that they came to the club to play in, regardless of whether it's mid-season or end of season. These are the games they wanted to play in. That's why they came to the club. It's a fixture that they always look out for, and they're always asked about it when they join. So stand up, be counted. See if you're not interested, don't get on the bus. Simple as that. Don't get on the bus, because we need everybody in these last 3 games just to push and get their all. You never know where we end up, whether it's third, second, or in Albert's case, maybe even top. But you never know, mate. You've just got to go and give effort, give desire, give hunger. Us as supporters deserve at least that.
Right. Aye. I just don't know.
Well, the message is loud and clear for the manager. Doesn't matter what formation you play. If you don't run and don't run out of possession to want to take the ball, it doesn't matter what formation you play, you'll get beat. So it's clear. He's telling them it's clear. If you want to keep on playing the way you're playing and no move into position to take the ball, well, expect a defeat. Simple. You go out there and do what he's telling you today, and you've been practicing all week and training, I imagine, and that you're practicing all the time in Spain. If you carry on doing that, there's every chance you could have won the first 2 games, but you didn't. There's a chance you can win this game. The next 3 games, if you do it right. There's no doubt in my mind they can do it. They can play football when they want to play football. And it's so down to, I've been hearing all week, it's a manager that's managed. Not to do with the manager. Absolutely zero to do with the manager. He's got a couple of things wrong, that's true. He's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not wearing this sack of manager just because these players are not going to run. And they show you in certain games what they're getting. The Falkirk game, all right, the weather had part of the day, but they come on there and whack in 5 goals in the second half. They show you against Motherwell, 2-0 down, completely outplayed in the first, come back out and get on top of them, score 2 goals. Okay, lose a stupid third goal. But they show you what they can do, mate, if they follow the manager's instruction and if they can just put the effort into it and say, look, be brave. Especially when you're getting attacked and the teams are starting to get, be brave. That's the time you really need to be brave. And that's what he's trying to tell them. So formations mean nothing if they're not going to do that bit. If they're not going to move into positions and keep moving, it makes no difference. You can play any position, any formation you want.
No, you've got to work as a unit, work as a team. And then, you know, sometimes you might not even have to win your individual battle, as they call it, Robert, for the team today. Well, you just have to cancel somebody out, you know, at the right time. You know, you might not get a lot of touches. You make the run, you don't get the ball. I mean, it's the same at the Rangers Radio 5-a-sides. Every time you looked up, you said Southside, top to his lap, not past the him. You know what I mean? He didn't say it, but he done it. You know?
That was a Mikey Moore.
Hell at Debbie Moore.
I don't think it was Mikey Moore, but I think it sounded like Moore, but it actually wasn't Moore.
Maybe it was Diamante, he just couldn't reach Southside with the passes.
Away over there. Aye, the whole 10 yards.
You're right in what you're saying though, Walks. You're speaking sense in terms of it's a whole team effort. Like you look at the press, even in the first half at times you noticed, and even going back to the Motherwell game at Ibrox, there were moments where Raskin was the one leading the press. Charmiti and Miovski were behind him.
He was miles out of position, mate.
Exactly. So if it's taking him to do the press, it needs to come from your forward players. But if one player does it, you need to do it as a unit because, as you say, the space becomes available. And Motherwell found that space. You've seen it where, I think it was the second goal they scored. They just played a ball right through the middle of your team, acres of space, and they get a goal from it. So teams will hurt you, regardless of whether it's Motherwell, Livingston, Falkirk. They've all scored goals against us. But it's because of us not doing the instruction, one player pressing, nobody following it up. And as you say, cutting out passing lanes, it's the dirty side of the game. Maybe not be involved as much as you like getting the ball, but see if you're preventing attacks, it might not go noticed because you're not tackling, you're not winning the ball, but you're being effective. You're stopping them playing through you. So that needs to happen front to back and back to front. If it's just one player, the link in the chain breaks and you're too easy to play through. That's one thing that I will say when you play two in the middle of the park, when it is Raskin going or going back to receive the ball, Chukwani's isolated with 2 or 3 bodies around him. He can't get the ball, he can't receive it. He's marked and he can't. Aye, but I don't think that's instruction. I think that's just Raskin trying to take the game by himself, if I'm being honest. Trying to do well, but not being effective.
Wait a minute, mate. There's something. I can see him bubbling up here. You think we should bring him in or should we leave him?
You're better laying me. You're better laying me alone. I've got a big red button. I'm ready to press here. Raskin. To be fair to the boy, I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't like his attitude. I just do not like the way he goes about his business, mate. I think he's an idiot at times for his own good. I think he's a complete idiot for himself. Cares about the part, and he's meaning to do well. He's meaning to win the ball, and he's trying to get into the game. But all he's doing is causing chaos and pulling his team all over the place. Players are making a run for him, and he'll not give them the ball anyway. So they get fed up with that. That in itself, will start players getting it. I'm not. What's the point? He's just going to run about himself anyway. So what's the point of making a run for him? He's not going to do anything but run about. He pulls his cell out of position. He's not ill-disciplined. And Monday night there, he's playing on the left. He had a job to do for the teammate. That's what he had to do. And the first 10, 15 minutes, you never seen much of him. And he doesn't like that, mate. He likes his name to be known, to be called in telly all the time, Raskin. He's not in the game per se, but he's doing a good job. He really is doing a good job, right? So he gets fed up, and then he starts going on the ball. Maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go at the half, he starts running about, get on the ball, running across the field. For no good reason. There was no reason to do it. He just decided he wanted to do it. And in the second half, he just totally wasn't in the game. Why? You're saying, what's up with you now? How are you know in the game now? Because he changed his mind. He decides he wants to play the 6, or he wants to play the, I don't know what he wants to play, but at the end of the day, he doesn't want to follow instruction. That's what he doesn't want to do. And he makes himself a bad player by doing that. Martin tried to tell him, less is more. But he didn't want to listen to that. He didn't want not to listen to that at all, man. So Martin's telling his sword because you get players that are not going to listen to them, take instructions. When they're good, they're very good, and they get man in the match. But there's very far and few of their performances in these players. But they seem to think it's like wee boy football. It's like amateur football, mate. Oh, charge about. You're doing it. No professional level. You can't do it, even at the level of Scottish football. You can't do that, mate. You've got to follow what the coaches are saying and play as a team. Team game, mate. It is, mate. All day long, and we don't play as a team. Certain players don't play. Raskin being one, he's not the only one.
Interesting thoughts, Phil. Well, I'm surprised. I knew it was coming. I think he done really well with Steve Carr, Robert.
No, he's done no bad. He must have had that paper bag next to him again. What's the rest of your team, Ox, just before we go to the tune?
People want to sponsor a plastic bag for up.
Somebody I'm looking for a fund me page. I'm looking for a fund me page. Somebody get
a plastic
bag. I'm looking for a fund me page to get there. Why my claw hammer? She's nailed my feet to the flare.
I take it she's away.
No, she's in a scary room, I think. She's somewhere near state, put it that way.
Right here, right, you're asking me what my team would be.
Yes.
Okay, so I would go a 4-1-1, right? And I would Chimity up top and Moore and Nadiri. Anyway you wanted to start them as the other one. One no playing, and I would play Diamandi in the left because that's where he's played in midfield. I would have Chokwani or Raskin, and then you've got the right of midfield, which becomes an issue. I wouldn't play Scott Wilson. People might be surprised at that. I wouldn't play Kusama. I wouldn't play Ant-Man. So I'm just struggling, mate. So you then think to yourself, well, we'll Tav play and Sterling play in front of him. And that gives you and then your 4 that you cover the park, mate. Because I'm convinced that sometimes we give ourselves too much to do in midfield and some of the games. When we went there the last time, we started with the 2 and go overrun. Yeah, we had the 2 and we had the wide men, the score 2-3-1. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have Asgard on the park. I wouldn't have Scott Wilson on the park. I would maybe bring some of them on. That depending how the game goes. But I would have to work, and then we'd have to work as a team, and then people have to go and join in with the 2 forwards you've got, and to give you more bodies up front. Sounds rather negative, but if we don't win the midfield battle, we'll not be getting up the park anyway. And that's been proven at times when we went there before. You know, the second off there when we played the 3, and when I think it was Diamandi come on, Robert, that's what changed the game. You know, so it's a wee bit different, but as you said, would you be playing Kusama in form? Would you be playing Ant-Man? Would you be playing Scott Wilson on form? No, you wouldn't be, you know, so we're really struggling. I don't know what's happened, mate. And by the way, some of them have already kicked up. You know, Ant-Man, how much fit was he played since the new year? Very little, mate. You know, so this is a problem. How do they get fit? How do they keep this edge? They're always telling us they need match fitness. The contradiction in modern football is mental, but there we go. Right, it's time for a tune. Get yourself on mute.
You are sitting listening on your own. Why not take part and give us a phone? We would love to hear your points of view. So get off your bum and call 0141 356 1972.
Thanks for that, Fox. I think that was Pickles. I'm not sure if that was Flutes. Aye, but I take your point, Robert, that you've sent me, mate. Yeah, could you play Conor Barron and then play somebody else on the right? I would keep him on the bench just because he's not played a lot of football, and he might come on last half an hour, maybe half time. You never know, mate. But that's the problem. We've got some amount of players in our squad that you couldn't say were match fit, Robert.
No, you're right. You're right. His last 90-minute game actually was against them in January. Obviously he started the game and came on to a game better in the second half, as you touched on already with the midfield. But there is a lot of players that haven't played a lot of football. They've not been involved. In the likes of Antman, Skov Olsen, Bayrami, even he's not in the match day squad anymore. So there is players that, as much as people can criticise the team selection, the question is, well, if you don't start with the players that he picks, who do you pick? Because you kind base it on form. They've hardly featured, and they're not going to be fit enough to see out a full game. So you're going to have to take them off at some point. Is that going to be 60 minutes, 75 minutes? You don't know, because they've not played a lot of football. So when he said in the interview is if he's picked the same 11, that's because these players have probably played the most minutes. They're probably not saying they're fit, because we've said already that the team doesn't look fit. But out of the squad, they probably get more fitness in them than the others that are behind them because they've played more games. So is that science? Is that just common sense? I don't know, but there is a lot of players that haven't featured a lot, and I think that's where the frustration lies with us as well. That there's not been that kind of level quality of playing field in terms of if a player's out, you bring a player in, they're up to speed, because they're not. They're playing bit parts in games where it's 5 minutes at the end, 20 minutes. It's not enough to get you through a 90-minute game or a large part of a 90-minute game.
I don't know if it is sports science or it's just basic arithmetic. They've not played enough minutes, all bear in it.
It's as simple as that, but that sports science seems to be a bit elastic when it comes and a bit flexible with the truth as well. It doesn't make any sense. Let's be honest, we need to understand it anyway. Well, we're getting told you need to be this, that, and the next thing before you can get a game. Look at Connor Golson. We spoke about that today, mate. Connor Golson. He came out, never had a pre-season, never kicked a ball, and then he just walked into the first game of the season. It's mental, mate. Mental. I don't know. I don't understand it. Then you look at certain players. Oh, you get rest periods in the red zone. Tavernier was never in the red zone. Golson was never in the red zone. Say, well, how come they two can play all these games consistently, but other players have all got to be rested? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm going to swear there. Doesn't make any sense, mate.
What's your take on it? Is there enough rotation with injuries and suspensions?
What do you mean enough? You want more?
You don't. You very seldom get the same 11 players on the park for different reasons, you know?
Aye, the 3 games a week, I can see the reason the 3 games a week. If you're doing it right, you should be tired. You should be tired. If you're doing it right, you're playing right. So I can understand that, mate. And another part of the crazy thing about football is the cram everything into these weeks and months, and then at the end of the season, you've got big long spells that you're playing one game a week. You're saying, well, what is it? What do we need to cram all the games into one spell it? Because it's all European stuff and international stuff, and they're just filling the calendar up with meaningless, stupid games that nobody's interested in. Nobody with any sense of it is. You get the idiots to go watch Scotland playing a friendly, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, mate. But so I can understand the rotation with that because you're playing all these games, and if you're putting the effort in and the style of play you're playing, if you're playing a high intensity pressing game, it does take its toll. There's no team in the world can do that for 50, 60 games a season. That's impossible, mate. Even with a big squad, that's impossible. So I can understand the rotation. Whether it's enough, you asking me, is it enough to be rotate enough, or do we rotate less? It's again,
I
sports
think
science.
you get rotation. See, look at the players that have been under this. Look at the players that have been injured this season. You know, is there anybody in your squad that's not been injured this season? I'm trying to think. They've all had minutes off the pitch.
I'll be honest with you, I think this is one of the best seasons for a long, long time with our injuries. I don't think we've carried anywhere near the injuries we normally carry. Okay, we've had the Nadiri and we've had the Roms recently. We've had wee Barron, but we're usually more than us. It really is. We're usually with 6, 7 players. Out long term, I'm talking about. And I'd say long term is more than 4 weeks.
Committed a few weeks out, didn't he? You know, that's quite a lot.
I think it might only be Tavernier or Raskin that's not really had an injury. They've obviously been in and out of games and sometimes been on the bench, and obviously Raskin was frozen out by Martin, but in terms of injuries, Ox, I don't think they two have had an injury.
Butland's not had an injury. That couldn't.
Well, I think he has, mate. The last few weeks, he's got a sore back the number of times he's got to bite the ball in there.
We Moors had an injury. They're not of them long term, but it's just common injury, like kicks and bruises and strains, things like that. You know
what I mean is you get them, so you get rotation naturally.
Yep.
You know,
I think for me, Ox, the problem with rotation is, it comes back to stuff that you've said the past few shows, is we're short in certain positions. So you can't rotate too much because you're trying to put in square pegs and round holes when it comes to some positions. I mean, if you look at it across the board, we know we're late in midfield. Barron had his injury, but thankfully, I think it was Diamondi who'd come back in, and we'd obviously signed Chukwani, so it worked out. But if Chukwani never came in, we were really, really short in that position. So left back, we only had Magoma. If he got an injury, you were relying on Max Aarons, which wasn't great. So there's certain positions where rotation has been useful because there's been players there. Other times it's not because we're short, but that boils down to recruitment.
I don't think Raskin's been injured, is he?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it's only Raskin and Tavernier that I think hasn't had an injury.
I've not looked at it, mate. I've not looked at it, you know. I don't know, looking to see how many games they've played this season. You know, Tavernier's not played a lot of football for him, but he's coming to the end of his career. So it's signs of time wait for no man. So I be interesting. But our teams are different but similar. Yeah, Chermiti's up front, depending on the DD's fitness. You know, how have we got ourselves where we're really struggling? How is this right wing position, the GB position as I call it, how has it become such a starting point for us? Robert?
Good question, mate. And if I had the answer, I would hopefully try and solve it, but I don't. It's became a position for a number of seasons that we've always spoke about, and we've never really addressed it well, if we're honest. We had Cherny. He's probably been the kind of consistent, but his start wasn't great either. He took time to bed in and gel and make it his own. Other than that, it's been a problem area for us. We've not really identified a long-term solution. It's always kind of been a lone player, or at times you're relying on a young player or somebody that's not natural to that position. We've had Asgard out there, we've had Barami. Go and get a player for the future. Essentially, when I say future, I don't mean a youngster, I mean a permanent signing who's going to maybe do 3 or 4 years there, because it's been a problem area. And if we're going to be a team that does focus on width and using wide players, get somebody that's going to be consistent. Get a permanent signing.
Believe it or not, it's a left winger we need. See, every player we play in the left winger, they're all right-fitted players. So they're all right wingers by our definition of the way we were brought up. It's a left winger we're short to play in the right.
I get it, mate. Modern football.
But everybody's thinking it's a right winger we need. It's no, we've got plenty of them. They're left wingers.
I get it. Well, it's mental how that's turned into a place. You know, because we have got the personnel. And when the first time I seen him, I thought, Ant-Man with his pace. I've not always seen that since that night at Ibrox. All better.
Aye, I've been saying all along, but they play on the wrong wing. When you get the grass to run into, that's when you play Ant-Man. So he comes short, you put the ball, he'll bring the full back with him, then you put the ball where he can let to him have a fit race, and Ant-Man will 9 times out of 10 he'll win that race, and he's a good provider, a good assist. He's got excellent numbers in his assists when he played in his last team. So that's what you're doing, but we don't play him that way. We play him as a dribbling winger, which he is not. It's space. You let him run into space, he'll create you a chance. And I'm telling you, see if he was playing right and we played him right, Big Church, we would love him. So would Miowski, so would the Dairy. The centre forwards would love him, mate, because he'll create a lot of chances for you, but we don't play him that way. Tavernier tries to take his position. Watch Tab. Tab tries to get by him. Saying, Tab, we don't want you by him. We want you to give him the ball. Put it out of the full-back side and let him go on it. That's the way you get the best out of Ant-Man.
Robert?
I can't disagree, Albert. I think we've touched on it before, but the way we set up, the way we play, I'm not saying it's a Danny Rule style, because it's been the way we've played over a number of years, is the wingers always come to the ball rather than getting behind. I don't think we're direct enough. Many times this season alone, have you seen us put a ball over the top? The other problem with that is, do we have him that's got that range of vision and pass accuracy to put a ball in behind for people to run onto? Arguably no. Shooter, for his kind of critics and defending and stuff, he's got a range of passing on him. He can find a looping ball. Goldson was famous for it. Goldson used to ping a ball out to Kent, and Kent would get on in behind. But we don't do it. It's all this passing in front of midfield, passing in front of defenders. And I think that's what Albert's saying, because the guys have got the ability to do it. They've got the speed to get beyond the defenders or get away from the defenders. We just don't play to the strength. But that's not just Danny Rule. That's been Clement was similar as well. Martin, don't know what he was trying to do with him, but it's not just a Danny Rule style. It's just, I don't know if it's just modern day football that you want wingers to get the ball and dribble inside. I get what Albert's saying about we need a left winger, because everybody will be playing the left right footed. Because the managers these days, or football these days, it's all about inside forwards, or whatever you want to call it, inverted wingers, all coming in central. Nobody's stretching a game wide, taking defenders on. We don't have it. The players can do it, they just don't do it, and they don't use their strengths to get in behind, as Albert says. So I don't think we're direct enough when we can be. There's space a lot of times in behind. You see Miowski, he does it. He tries to run in behind, but again, nobody's got that range of vision to find him.
I can imagine me trying to explain that to my old man. Albert, inverted winger. I wonder what he would say to me. And I'm not going to go to Robert.
Start with an F and end with an F.
Aye.
It's I don't understand it. For all the tactical stuff today, and for all the fitness things today, and all the science things today, I look at the game and you go, it's pretty boring. It's pretty boring to watch. Because all you're talking about is tactics, and all you're talking about is fitness, and all you're talking about is money, and nobody actually talks about skills that's shown on the park. People entertain you, goals, brilliant goals scored. Now occasionally you get the brilliant goals. Normally a set piece goal it's going to be, but very rarely you get a brilliant goal. It's your matey goal against the Pedos. They're rare. They're rare. So for all you want to say, if it was a simple game, as I said before, it really is a simple game, mate. And we are now, in the modern game, has turned into some sort of scientific mumble jumble. A 1-2 worked right when the start of the game was getting invented, and it still works today, mate. A 1-2, pass and move. You can't beat it, mate. It's impossible to beat. A 1-2. But no, we've got to have wee black braziers of the players run about to monitor whatever it they're doing, know what I mean? Saying, oh, he's needing the toilet, we need to have half soon. All that nonsense. I don't get it, mate. I don't get it. You can see when a player's trying and a player's not trying. You can see when a player's injured or he's not injured. You can see a good player against a bad player. You know when somebody's in a good game, somebody's in a bad game. It's no difficult, mate. You can say scouting a good player for our amateur eye. You can say, oh, he's a good player. He's not so a good player in other teams. But no, they've got this analytical nonsense. I don't get it. I don't. But I'm a dinosaur, mate. So I would rather have the football that I seen early doors, mate. The let's three. Was it the 3-2-5? Carry on. Three defenders, two midfielders, two and five forwards. I'd rather have go back to that, mate. The W. Let's play that again. That was good, exciting football. Unpredictable. You never won every game. You weren't meant to. In fact, there's a good point. Nobody's meant to win every game, mate. Football's not supposed to be like. No game is supposed to be that one team dominates and wins every game. That's not meant to be that way. It's supposed to be unpredictable. As we've just proved, getting into the last 5 games of the season. It's very exciting. Then you get this bang, 2 defeats. Oh, now you're back to going, well, it's not mathematically impossible to win this league. It's probably highly unlikely, but it's no impossible. So you're back up at it again. Know what I mean? Unpredictability. Everybody thinks that they two are going to win the next 2 games. I don't. I really don't. I don't think we'll do it. Because that the Pedos have got us and they've got Motherwell to play, and Hearts have got Motherwell and Falkirk to play. Falkirk might be the key to the whole league campaign for everybody. nobody's paying any attention to them. So we've got them and we'll get Hibs. So I don't see them winning any 2 games. I really don't, mate. I think they're more than capable of losing 8 games. More than capable. Because if you look at the 2 teams, they're not the teams that everybody thinks they are. Everyone's concentrating on Rangers and talking about Rangers. But these 2 teams are equally as bad as us, mate. I think the 3 teams are pretty poor, to be honest with you. But it's not to say that they have just automatically won their next 2 games. They haven't. And if we win on Sunday and Hearts get beat with Motherwell, all of a sudden it's, oh, wait a minute, this is getting a wee bit more interesting. So we get into the last game, they get beaten the next 2 games. You're getting into us 2 points ahead of them and 1 point behind Hearts. So you're sitting going, what happens now in your last game? And you know, it sounds crazy, it sounds madness, but it could happen, mate. It sounds as though, oh, that's never happened. I don't know so much, mate. It might all die a death this weekend and we get beaten and Hearts win, and that's it, done and dusted then. But up until that point, keep believing. That's my message for the night, mate.
I love your optimism, mate. I love your optimism. I usually love your realism.
Well, that is realistic in saying that it's a fact, mate. Whether it's going to happen, well, okay, right, it's maybe a big, long shot. I'll give you that. But it's statistically possible, mate. That's what I'm saying.
We've took the pressure off the 2 teams, mate. And that's the annoying thing, mate. Even if we took 4 points out of 6, doesn't matter how we took them. It's a different thing altogether, mate.
We're putting all the emphasis on us, mate. They 2 are no good teams.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that what we've also done is we've took the pressure off them, mate.
But it doesn't make them better teams. Whether you did, whether you didn't, they're still bad teams.
Pressure does strange things, Robert.
It does, mate, but I tend to disagree with you saying I think we've took the pressure off them. I think there's more pressure, if I'm being honest, because they're saying both sets of supports and the media are basically saying now it's a 2-horse race. They've discredited us with the 7-point gap. So I think there's more pressure on them because that lot across the city support will say, right, well, if they're out of the picture, then we can go and win it. And Hearts will say, well, 1 team down, we've still got 1 chasing. So I think the pressure is just the same, if not more, if I'm honest, mate. But Hearts playing them on a night in Motherwell. If they win, then mathematically, we're out the picture. Then Sunday becomes a case of, right, well, if we're not going to win it, let's stop them winning it. That's ultimately what it boils down to. But you'll know that come tomorrow night with the Hearts result, what's at stake come Sunday. But It's an all-firm game. We want to win them, of course, regardless if it's for a title or 3 points. It's one over your rivals. And listen, we've got a good record there of late. And against them in general, they've not beat us in 90 minutes since 2024.
I want to keep that going, mate. Yeah.
100%. 100%. There's no reason not to. I know, obviously, the question Danny Rowe got asked was, is this the game to come back and after 2 defeats? It's an all-firm game. Every game like that should be motivated for it. You shouldn't need an extra motivation to go and beat your rivals. As I said earlier on, this is when you want to see the players stand up. You don't want them coming out with the heads down and going, well, we've blew a chance here. Stand up and put one over the name again. Keep that run going and put a wee bit of a doubt in their heads as well to say, well, hold on a minute. They've just beat us. Hearts have won. This is harder than we thought to get the title for them. But we don't care if they get the title or not. If we get it, of course we want it. If we're not going to get it, then we can stop them getting it.
Okay, mate. Okay. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It always is when we play them. You've also, at any time, you've got to get with the right attitude, all better.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. We've done it before. We've showed we can do it. They'll be up for it, especially if Hearts get beat. I never realised they play tomorrow night before we play. I didn't realise that. But if Hearts get beat, their tails will be up on Sunday. Oh, we're in it now. We can get draw level with them now. So they'll be up for it. But if Hearts, as I said before, Hearts only need 2 draws and a win, mate. Any combination, it doesn't matter. 2 draws and a win wins the league for them. And you'd think they think they're more than capable of doing that. I'm looking at our game and going, you just play the way he's played in the first half against us. Teams with more pace will really hurt you. They will really hurt you. I mean, if they play that against Motherwell will take 3 or 4 off them. No bother. Because they're not the team they think they are. And I'm going to shock a few people out here who think McInnes is this master tactician. He's no. He's simply no, mate. You got to remember, by the way, we pulled back a 13-point lead they had to 1 point. We pulled it back. That's how much of a genius he is. So, and if it wasn't for our failings, he wouldn't have got near Rangers. He would not. It's nothing to do with what he's doing. If you're looking at some of the results they've been getting, a fair play. Everybody needs luck, and I'm not decrying their luck. Everybody needs luck. But you can't turn around and tell me they're a good team, mate. And you can't tell me that more because Society are a good team. They're not. Or simply no. We're not a good team either. I'm not trying to say that we're a better team than all of that. The 3 of them are equally as bad as each other. But I'm not giving them. I'm not conceding that they're just automatically going to win the next 2 games. No doing that, mate. Until it happens, I'm not conceding. So my flag's no up. I don't care what you say. I'm still in the trench, and I've got more ammo. I've just got my ammo in here with me. I'm prepared to fight on.
Last man standing. Listen, get yourself a mute. It's time for Southside Super 6.
Welcome to Southside Super 6. And get ready for your weekend's fix. He finds it hard to get them right, 'cause most of the time they are shy.
Hi, and welcome to Southside Super 6 for Saturday the 8th of May. The selections are Bournemouth, Kilmarnock, Motherwell, Man City, Aberdeen and Dundee. Good luck, everybody. And young Robert is going to give you the odds.
The odds for that, stand by, is 106 to 1. 106 to 1.
Wow.
Well, you have just heard this week's picks are run out, and and bet like dicks. The sane amongst you will give it a miss, 'cause for years he has just been taking the piss.
Wow.
I had to double check, mate, that it wasn't a decimal point between the 0 and the 6, but I can confirm there isn't.
Wow. He's pushing the boat out this week, yeah?
Where's the odds been all season?
Aye. Well. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, everybody. Come and
I'm
join
going
us,
to be
0141 356 1972. We need to try and get myself up. Big game on Sunday. I get it. Everybody's feeling flat because of the last couple of weeks. I understand it all better, yeah. You know,
Of course,
I totally
mate.
understand it, but we've got to remember who we're playing on Sunday, yes.
Aye, definitely, mate. Absolutely. Don't give them nothing. Fight them tooth and nail. Always, mate. Tooth and nail. We're doing it for Hearts. We're doing it for us. Don't think we're doing Hearts a favour. We're not doing anybody a favour. The only favour we're doing is for ourselves. We're playing the match for ourselves. We're Glasgow Rangers after all. I mean, we should be playing them. I'm nearly swearing here. I'm slipping into sweary words, but no, play for Rangers. You know what I mean? Aye. Until it's done, it's done, but it's not done yet. You keep believing that. This is what title contention looks like. It's all ups and downs. Now we've had a couple of downs. There's no doubt about that. A couple of kicks in the plums there. 2 games, self-inflicted in my opinion. I'll give them all their due. They played well in the first half at Ibrox, but that's about it. I'm not giving Hearts any credit for being a brilliant team. We played crap, mate. Total crap in that second half. First half, aye. First half, perfect, mate. Second half, no. It's down to us, mate. It's down to us.
Aye. What did you make of some of the stories that are brought by Danny Rowe? A story for last summer when he was still with Sheffield Wednesday, you know? He was asked a question and people were trying to make it into part of a story a year further down the road. Now, you can never say never in football, that's a fact, Robert, but wow. Talk about lazy journalism.
Try to wreck the club, mate. You see, I say to you today, the club has got a plan, mate. Whether it's the right plan, whether it's not the right plan, we don't know. We're not privy to all the information and the thought processes went behind this plan. But at the end of the day, near they. But what they do see is they have got a plan. Whereas in the past seasons for the last 5, 10 years, we have another plan. Our plan was to try and stick a team together, go out there and win some matches without any thought of developing the club, saving the club, long-term visions and all that. We had none of that. We just season to season stumbling along. And everybody was laughing at us, trying to put a team on the park. We managed it one season. For whatever reason, how we done it, I don't know. But we managed it. We won the league. Bang, there you go. We missed out on other trophies that we should have won, but we won the league. Now they see this season's came along. Now remember, we've went through where we were with Danny Rowe. And I know people are saying, oh, he keeps going back to October. But that's facts, mate. What the guy's talking is facts. We were 13 points behind Hearts and 9 points behind them. And he brought it back to a title race. All right, we fell flat in our face in the last two games. That's a fact. That's football. Unpredictable. That's what it should be. You can bounce back for it. But it's going forward for there as well. So they're trying to put a Steve angle like, oh, Rowe wants away. Rowe's going back to Germany. Oh, broken Germany. All this nonsense you're getting at. Oh, so this is all to wreck whatever plans you've got in place. To wreck them, try and wreck them, try and undermine the club, try and undermine any forward thinking that Rangers have got. I think you stick with it, guy. Me personally, I don't think the guy deserves his books. I really don't. But if Kavanagh thinks he deserves his books, he'll be at the door. That's as simple as that, mate. There isn't going to be discussion on it. There isn't going to be any vote on it. It's going to be simply down to the senior management, led by Kavanagh, to say yea or nay on him. They think they're already talking. They've been talking about it for weeks. That the plans for next season are all been in place. So as far as I'm concerned, that's all positive stuff. It's okay, right? We're thinking ahead. Bearing in mind this season's still on the go. So I'm looking at it and going, it's nonsense talk. If he's going to go, he's going to go. But it's nonsense talk. It's paper talk. He said today in his interview as well. Last year, I was connected to 14 different clubs on the newspapers. None of it true. None of it true. Just the papers. Just something to write about. But me, it's mischief, mate. It's mischief making, especially as you said there. That was a last year's article, and they've now brought it into this, then try to pass it off as, oh, this is what's happening now. It's absolute garbage, mate. The guy he's part of a plan, and he's part of the plan. He's a planner of the plan. He's input into that plan, and I think we're pulling in the wrong direction behind the scenes, mate. I really do. And the noises is coming, and the lack of noises, the silence in some parts of it. Well, it's excellent, mate. Let it unfold. Let it go. We need improved, of course we do. Nobody's saying we don't. Of course we do. Let's carry on, and we need to sign players, and we need to sign Scottish players, and we don't want any more loan signings. All of this is just nonsense. We have a problem on the park. We don't know what it is. And if we don't know what it is, how can you solve it if you don't know what the problem is? What happened? How did we collapse? We don't know. But everybody's got an idea. Maybe some of it's right, maybe some of it's wrong, but none of us know. So how can you sort it when you don't actually know what you're to sort? So, but again, that's all behind the scenes, mate. As I said, we get wee parts, wee snippets, and we're trying to make decisions on that. We see with our eyes. Our only thing that we can go is what we see in the part. It's not good enough on the part. That's what we see. That's the end product. That's what happens, and it's not good enough. Of course, it's not good enough. But you can't say they're not trying. You can't say they've not got a plan behind the scenes. You can't say it's short vision. So we'll paper over the cracks. Just let us get going. We've got to take loan signings, because if we're going to bring in 12 players next year, they can't be 12 signings. You're talking about how much would that cost? You're saying it can't happen. If you're taking an average price between £2 and £4 million, it can't be done, mate. It's 40, 50, 60 million pounds. You've got to take loanies. They've no choice in it. They've got to take them to fill the team. Did we take too many this season? No. The situation dictated we had to take these loan signings, and you couldn't afford to not take them, and you had to do something to make a squad up, and that's what happened. Some worked, some didn't work. You can argue, you can take your subjective, you all can argue who's who. Sorry, mate, we're going now.
There's two different kinds of loan signings, Robert. There's just a straight loan where it's never going to happen. You know, both parties know that for different reasons. And then there's this loan with an option to buy. You know, maybe a year, maybe 6 months, whatever. And you get the real complicated ones like the Tillman deal. The Nennies were aware that they all broke. But Cornelius and Skull Volkswagen have they worked through. You know, we could have gave them contracts if we didn't have the loan to buy, and then we still again. One looks as if he's fell out with the manager. I might be wrong. I might be doing him a disservice. The other one just doesn't look up to it. All of a sudden, if you gave them 2 or 3 each contract, you could have another couple of players sitting just playing the club. So there's sense in it, but there's sense in it if you get the right people on.
100% there's sense in the loan market. You get some good players picked from a loan market as well, and as you say, there's different types. Sometimes you know the player and you know the club with the valuation. You're not going to be able to afford them, even with an option to buy. So you take the loan deal because you think they're going to improve your squad. Like Mikey Moore, prime example. Loan, realistically, could we afford them? Well, maybe that's up for debate and discussion, depending on the Spurs situation this season. But he's highly thought of. He's on a long-term contract at Spurs, so they would still want an astronomical amount of money for what we would pay in Scottish football. Scott Olsen, loan with an option, because again, similar obviously with Cornelius, international players improve the squad, see how they work, but they're realistically transfer targets to buy. If it doesn't work out, then you've just paid part of their wage for a season, but you're not stuck, as you say, to that 3 or 4 year deal, because you're not going to get money in the return if they're not featuring. You're not going to get players out the market with that. We've seen it. Matondo didn't work. He hanging on until his contract expired or some agreement was reached. But that's when it doesn't work. But when it does work well. So I'm for using the loan market. As you say, it's about getting the right player. But you don't know you've got the right player until they come to the club. That's the gamble of every single transfer. Same with a permanent signing. No signing is a guaranteed success until they come through the doors and they do the action on the pitch. You might sit and scout somebody for 3-4 months and think what a great player that is. You bring them to the club and it just doesn't work out. They don't fit in the squad, they don't fit into Scottish football, they can't handle the physicality side of it, whatever. Some things just don't work out. But when it's a loan, it's a silver lining that you're not restricted to keeping them on the books. That's one thing that Danny will probably get right in the January window, is free signings, permanent. For me, have improved the squad. Others might see it differently. Scove Olsen hasn't worked out. That's 3 out of 4 players permanent that have worked. The other one, silver lining, there's no signing there. So thanks, see you later. Even if you say thanks, or just see you later.
You've got to use at the moment, it's not about that. As far as I'm concerned, it's about we've got to use the loan market because of the numbers we're dealing with. If every signing, most of the signs, say 3/4 of the signs that we signed permanently, all worked out. You wouldn't be getting into every pre-season looking for 6, 8, 9, 10, no 12 players. You wouldn't be doing that. You'd be looking for 2, 3 players. Then you could go in and get permanent signings. At the moment, we're not in that position. We will eventually be in that position, but we're not there now. That's why we've got to use. It's just numbers, mate. You've no choice. You've not got the money to renew your whole squad as permanent players. You've just not got the money for it. So you've got to say, right, okay, we'll use it. You'll use a loan market. Now the loan market's fraught with danger, mate. People are getting loaned out for all different reasons for other clubs. Now, I've heard some of the podcasts and some of the other places talking about Curtis. Oh, Curtis, that was a wrong move to let them go to Kilmarnock. I mean, that's nonsense, mate, talking like that. It's absolute nonsense. You look at it, that boy was sitting on our bench and most times sitting in the stand. He's not getting game time. Now, the manager's got to make a decision. It's his decision now. So look what's happened here. He brings Olsen and he's got Moore, he's got Ant-Man and he's got Gasman. And he's totally, in his mind, covered for the position that Curtis is going to be asked to play in. So what does he do? Right, we'll give him out to Kilmarnock. We gave Kilmarnock a player that wasn't getting a real game for us, a boy. What are we getting back? We're getting a guy, a winger that can score goals and assist now on a regular basis and an international player. That loan signing was superb. The decision to let him go was superb. Absolutely worked out a treat. We're now getting an international player back. What was wrong with that loan? But I've heard, we should have kept him. We keep him, he's not playing. He's not going to get into the team.
How many minutes would they go for us? You reckon all the
exactly. No, hindsight, but hindsight's a great thing. What people are saying is, but look at them. You get by them. We don't see them all collapsing the way they've all collapsed, the way they're all playing. And Danny Rose, he's signing Olsen, who's got a proven track record as an international player. He's signed Gasman, who has been on fire with Sheffield Wednesday, and he's been on fire some games with us. Look to Ant-Man, look at all the goals and assists that he's had in his time over there. You're saying, well, these players are there. What am I going to keep a boy sitting in a stand and wasting his career? I need to get this boy playing. Great. It's an absolute... Now they're actually, I've been hearing people, that's another black mark against Bo. It's nonsense, man. Complete and utter nonsense. You've got to look at the situation the way it was at the time the decision get made. Everybody's smart with hindsight. Oh, Olsen's no playing well. We didn't know he was going to play this.
Even now, in the circumstances, the way the game's panned out, how many minutes do you think Finlay Curtis would have got?
But what the argument is now that I see we'd have kept him. He'd been better than Olsen. He'd have been better than Gasman. He'd been better than Ant-Man. Yeah, maybe he would have. But we didn't expect all the players to have the impact they've had. At the moment, they didn't play well. He's like they're struggling to get in the team. What we did know is, at the time, Boy Curtis wasn't going to get much game time. So the other players had to do that. So the game time we get now is still less than we would have got at Kilmarnock. So no, it worked out perfect. In fact, I would actually say it's one of the best loan signings that we've ever done, mate. Yeah, and you're going back to Alan McGregor and Charlie Adams. They were successes in the loan periods, mate, come back better players. I think that's the same that's going to happen to Curtis. And he's already been an international player. I'm baffled, mate. to me, all the stats that's been talked about and all this loans and everything is all anti-role, anti-manager. It's to get him sacked. That's what it's all about. But nobody's actually taking into consideration the positives and where the guy came and what he came into and walked into and where he took you to. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's wanting to know about these things anymore. It's get rid of him. And it's like, oh, that's going to make everything better. Don't think so. Sign Scottish players, that's going to solve all the problem. Don't think so. But everybody thinks they've got solutions. Nobody's got a solution because we don't know what the problem is. And you're hoping the behind the scenes do know the problem.
Robert, how many minutes do you think young Finlay would have got if he'd have stayed?
Without putting a number on it, mate, not a lot.
Roughly.
Not a lot.
Couple of games.
Aye, a handful of games, spare minutes here and there. Maybe sometimes 20, sometimes 10.
Remember he played it. I think he came on. His last game was the Queen's Park game, wasn't it? He went the next day, wasn't it? Was that the
That's
cup
right,
final?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. So after that, mate, I think he hardly plays, mate. I think he hardly plays. Yeah. So then he's another 3 months his development stumped because he sat on the bench every week. And we all better. I would have done it. And I don't think it was a mistake for two reasons. He would have hardly played. And for the boy, as a manager, you've got a duty to try and develop people that you think are talent. And how would that have developed him sitting in your bench? Or no, some weeks even sitting on the bench. Yeah. But the manager obviously didn't think he was ready to go in front of the players because he'd never done it. We might say, his attitude. Yeah, his attitude. We know that. He's got a tremendous attitude to the young boy. We've seen it. But he's basically developed there in the 3 months playing regular football and go further down the road, and hopefully we can benefit from it. Because I wish him more of success. Because I think he's got a cracking attitude. You know, you just need that bit of luck to make it great and kick on, score goals at the right time, playing a good team. And hopefully it becomes a part of our squad going forward, and he's a rip-roaring success. You know, but I don't know where he would have developed. I'd like somebody to tell me, he'd have played every week. I think they've been talking at their backside all better.
Absolutely, mate. There's no chance the boy been playing every week. And his
if
game
he was
time
playing
down
every
there.
week, mate, it'd been 5 minutes at the end or 10 minutes at the end. Yeah.
He's not developing, mate. See the last 3 months he's been doing at Kilmarnock. He's developed more in that 3 months than he's done the last year at Rangers. That's a fact, mate. That's a fact. The fact that the boy's now an international player as well, and I know playing for Scotland is it's tongue-in-cheek when you call yourself an international player, but anyway, that's me just being anti-Scottish again. But anyway, no, I think the boy's done a great job. I think it was a great decision. I think the boy has showed great attitude down there and grabbed it with both hands, and that's credit to that boy. That really, because we've sent players out and loan before and they've no tried a leg. They're out there with the I'm a Rangers player attitude. That boy's went down there, rolled his sleeves up and got on with his career and made something. He's trying to make something in his career. He's trying to get saying, well, I go back to Rangers. I'm no leaving Rangers. I want to play for Rangers. And there his credentials now saying, look, I was doing it a Premiership club playing against other Premiership clubs, scoring goals and creating goals. So he's selling no harm, mate. His attitude, he showed you he's got the right stuff to make to all the way and be a huge star for Rangers. I think it's a great decision. Absolute great decision.
I just checked there, Ox. He's played 11 games for Kilmarnock. He's featured in every game this season for them. So there's development. Maybe some games he's not started, he's came on, but he's had an impact down there. He's played different positions as well. He's played the right wing for them. He's played right back. I think he actually played right back against Dundee United at the weekend and got a clean sheet. I think he played a good part of that and scored as well. So I agree. And again, in hindsight, you could argue the guys that are there at the club at the minute haven't they performed, and there may have been a chance that he got game time. But at the time of the loan deal, everything made sense. You were getting Scove Olsen, who you thought was going to hit the ground running, take you up that level, and Curtis was going to develop. It made total sense. So I agree with the two of you. It makes total sense because he comes back a better player and he's got game time in his belt. Experience. We ask for young boys to get experience. If they can't get it at your club, that's what the loan deal's for. Go and get that. And the fact he's went to a team in your league as well, I think it's also a good thing, because he's tasted the Scottish League. He's not dropped down a level. He's stayed within the same division.
I think it makes perfect sense. 11 games, mate. But let's look at it. He might have come on in some games for a few minutes. He might have done, depending on the score of the game. Would he have started? I don't think many, if any. Yeah, for the way the cup panned it. Maybe they'd been a clamour to play him the last two. They wouldn't have been wanting to play him against Motherwell Ibrox. Yeah. And then after that, the bubbles popped and he might have got some minutes. He wouldn't have getting involved last week. I don't know where they think he was going to fit in. He might be involved next season, a better player. So I think I don't understand that one. Albeit somebody who thinks differently, come on and tell us your rationale. Or they might say he should have played, but he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. We know that. We were watching him as a bit part player. He wasn't on all of a sudden after the Queen's Park game going to become a first team starter every week. Yeah, I wish him all the best, and I just, on a totally different subject, you're hearing some of this stuff that this mob don't win the league, it's just like their 55 season, it doesn't matter because this is a nonsense season. Wow, I thought they had a long list of nonsense seasons, but that's another story. But you can't just
nonsense history.
Yeah, if you know your history, you would know that. But you can't just accept it. You're where you are. We know we've shot ourselves in the foot. We're not a good side, and you just deal with it. It's not like anybody else's fault when you're in. Yeah, but excuses. We don't make excuses. We're not making excuses. We're saying we were crap in the last two games. And the manager's got himself in a pickle. Whether that pickle is going to be unpickled because he does know what he's doing going forward, only time will tell, Robert.
That's it, mate. Time will tell, but it's whether he gets the time. I know people are saying now that they would sack him. They've seen enough to not be convinced that there's no improvement. But the stats show that we've improved since October. I know people say, that was then, he got us close, but he's not enough to get us over the line. Again, like Albert said, look what he's inherited. We amongst other supporters out there, we're sitting in this show in October, September, wondering if these players could even cut it. And he's turned some of these players into decent players. We knew they had it in them. He's got it out them. Mikey Moore became a different player. Chamiti looked fitter. Still not fit enough for me, but he was looking fitter. He was getting goals. He's added in players. So time will tell. And I think that's why, for me, you've got to give him this next full season. Albert touched on it earlier on. With pre-season, he never had that. He couldn't get any time with the team on the tuning park from day one. It was fixture after fixture after fixture. He's brought in 4 players. 3 look like they're going to work out. 1 hasn't. But he's got to be getting time walks. And I know people say, no, seen enough. You can't just keep sacking managers. I know the argument to that is you can't tell they find the right one. If we could find the right one, we'd have had them 2-3 years ago. It's not that easy to go and get the right one. You don't know it's the right one until you come to the club. Same as a player. So for me, Danny Rule is a manager next season. I think he's proved enough that he's capable of handling it. He just needs that extra bit of help with better players, better options.
Better players. Going to be an interesting summer. Going to start quite quickly. This is the last week of the season. Come and be on us now. And ultimately, it's been we can finish flat, but there's a big game coming up against them. They're always big games. Let's go and win it all better.
That's what I'm looking for, mate. Let's go and win it. Let's put this to bed and say, right, okay, if we're not going to win it, we're going out with a bang. And you're still in the last week of the season, and you're still in it with a chance, albeit an big wild outside chance to win it, but you're still in it. You can't say we're not in it. You can write yourself off if you want. We'll never win it. We're a bad team, or this, that, and the next thing. Yeah, fair enough. You can call it all that, but the figures tell you can still win it. So I think the guy's done a remarkable job, because he's gave them a 9-point head start and a 13-point head start. That's what they've had over him, and he's brought it back to the last week of the season. Fantastic, mate. All right, we wanted to go and win it. Okay, we should have won and won it if we'd applied ourselves. Call it what it would. Say what you want. Call it what you want. But you go to admire the man for what he's done, and call him for his head is. I don't expect anything different for certain individuals. I don't expect anything different for them because they just do it all the time. But at the end of the day, there's only one man that matters, and that, or two men, I suppose, is Kavanagh and Gillespie. If they decide he's to go. Well, that's fine. But you're not going to put pressure on him. Like Kavanagh, you'll not put pressure on him. He'll sit there and he'll weigh it up and tell you, no, we've got this plan, and Danny's part of the plan, and he's had an input to the plan. So, no, we're going to go and see what he can do. Let's see. And I'm confident of the guy. The guy's a good enough manager to win the Scottish Premiership. I definitely am. He's if he gets the right players in, and it doesn't have to be 5 million, 10 million pound players. It's the right players of any nationality. I don't care what the nationality is. It could be Scottish. It could be anything. I don't care. And they cut out this snobbery talk about Rangers are snobs. They don't go for Scottish players. Never know. That's nonsense. We're no snobs at all. It's just doesn't fit right for at the time. And the Shanklin carry on. Sick of listening to that nonsense. Why is this, that? We remember that guy, these Hearts fans, the same Hearts fans that applaud him now, weren't they applauding him all season, mate? They were all saying he was crap. And then he took his injury. So if he comes to us and he takes that injury, what are we going to say? Oh, this. Yeah, it's a Rangers thing, and he's injured. Look at the time he's out injured. He wouldn't have got the time, and he's getting at Hearts. So that ship's sailed. We should stop rattling on about it because it's getting boring.
Go on, mate. It's in the history books. Would that be a good signing? Aye. Would it have been a good signing? Aye. Would it have been value for money? Aye. Would it have been better than Danilo? Aye. He could have still broke his leg the first game. We'll never know, mate. Yeah.
Never know. You'll never know.
You know?
Mate.
You'll never know.
But it's no. As far as I'm concerned, the Rogue's done a decent job. Decent enough job. Could have been better. Of course it could. Made mistakes. Of course he's made mistakes. But he's no hid for his mistakes. He's not trying to palm it off to anybody. He'll tell you straight. And he's got a hostile journalist. Even some of the Lorraine fans, journalists are quite hostile with him at times. So I think a man's doing a decent job. Yeah, I'd like to give him a chance. In fact, I'll tell you better than that. I'd like you to see the man stay in the full duration of his contract, whatever that contract. I think it's 2 years with an option of 1. I think it's that. I don't know, but whatever it is, I hope he stays the duration his contract and more.
Well, that would say he's doing a good job, mate, and that would please us all.
Oh, aye, definitely, mate, definitely.
Aye. Interesting time for the club, but we know a lot of players are going to go, Robert. You know, and I don't know what motivates some of them. I've never been able to work that out in real modern football, mate. What motivates them? You know, for us, playing against them would give you every motivation, but we've not let ourselves down, particularly against them. We're shot ourselves in the foot. Right, when you go back to the twice they've knocked us out the cup this year, you know, 3-1 in extra time. Yes. Well, 10 men go down, played them off the park. You know, you thought it was the other team with 10 men. And by the way, don't forget the kick in the heat. And then the game at Ibrox, mate, we pounded them, and we just, I don't know, we lacked quality score, we didn't get it right. We just didn't lost again with penalty kicks, you know. So, our performances have been all right against them, and let's hope it continues on Sunday, mate.
Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. We know we can take it to them. We know we can beat them. We can get at them. As Albert's touched on throughout the night, they're not a great side. There's weaknesses in their team, midfield, defence, and when we play as well as we know we can exploit that. And it's about being clinical. You touched on the Scottish Cup game. Aye, there was times where we could and should have scored and won the game and went through to the next round, but that's how good we can be against them. We've got a not bad record against them of late. They've not beat us in 90 minutes for over nearly 2 years. Pressure's on them, Ox. Pressure is on them for me. But we go there with the right attitude, the right application, Doesn't matter what team Danny Rule selects, we all back him, we back the team to go and get a victory and put one over on them and just let them know that we're still here. And if things work out as Albert thinks they might work out, you never know. But it's still an old firm game. You want to win it, mate. Of course you do. If that doesn't motivate you, then what does?
Yeah. Last word for your good self, Robert.
I've been a good discussion night, mate. Good to be on with yourself and Albert. Obviously looking forward to Sunday. We know who we're playing against. We know what the environment's going to be like. Let's just roll the sleeves up and put in the hard work. And let's win both halves. Let's get any victory, but win both halves. Even if it's a 1-0 at half time and we perform well enough in the second half to see it out, I'll take that.
You steal my drink. You steal my lines. Yeah.
Careful now.
Dear oh dear. Yes, one both halves. It'd be a good place to start, Albert, wouldn't it? Last word, bro.
Aye, definitely, mate. I just give an open invitation to all the Rangers fans out there. Join me in my winning the title party later on the season, later on this week. So I'm not getting it up. It's impossible. So you never know. So I'm looking forward to Sunday. Let's go on, mate. Let's go up there and get a victory, mate. That's what I'm looking forward. Good to be on yourself and Robert there. Enjoyed that tonight.
Yeah. Thanks to you too. Thanks to Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Rangers Radio will be back at 11 o'clock, building up to a game against them. And the Rangers victory. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Old School Blue.